Hello, Dean. How are you? Let me
Very well.
introduce you and then I'll turn it over to you. Um, Dean Meng is the Executive Vice President of Purdue University for Strategic Initiatives and Innovation Campus. He has also been the John A. Edwardson Dean of the College of Engineering and the Roscoe H. George Distinguished Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering since 2017. Purdue Engineering's ranking rose from number 9 to number 4 and became the largest engineering school ever, ranked top 5 in the U.S. During 2020, he served as the Science and Technology Advisor to the U.S. Secretary of State and the Chief Global Technology Office in the Department of State. Prior to 2017, he was the Arthur LeGrand Doty Professor of Electrical Engineering, the inaugural chair of Princeton Entrepreneurship Council, and director of Keller Center for Engineering Education at Princeton University. His research on communication networks received the 2013 Alan T. Waterman Award, the highest honor to a scientist or engineer under the age of 40 in the U.S. each year. Thank you, Dean, for being with us, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Roberto, Secretary Spellings, the Commission, Dean Reingold, Dean Wolf, for inviting me to be part of this most critical conversation here about the rural and agricultural communities' broadband needs. And let me see if I can share my screen here. I hope you can see it now. Great, wonderful. Well, I can keep on going for hours and hours about this nerdy and societal topic, but I'm going to try to respect the allocation of the 5 minute and focus on just a few bullet points. First, it goes without saying at this point in our conversation and the national conversation that we have a dire need to provide and engineer, indeed, universal broadband access in this country. And we cannot afford to have, according to Commerce, 120 million Americans without broadband internet. And here in the state of Indiana, we are doing quite well. I think there is a lot of room for further improvement, over 4 million people without broadband internet access. And the pandemic and the remote working and learning certainly accelerated and amplified the need to bridge this digital divide. And I'll focus on 3 particular kinds of technologies, either because they are new or because they have promising potential based on the latest development. One is actually wireline broadband. Now, of course, we talked about fiber, but depending on where you take the fiber, you may still need the copper wire to take you to the rest of the length, all the way to the kitchen and the study of the houses and the apartments, if that is the configuration you have there, and to the farm, if that's the digital agricultural application you're looking at there. So there has been a lot of advances in signal processing on copper wire, as well as in fiber, to give you multiple modalities and substantially enhance the throughput that you can deploy, even just on copper wire. The same old telephone wire, thanks to signal processing, there are additional capacity increase. A second track is the 5G broadband track, especially fixed wireless in mid-band and low band, including CBRS band. I'll come back to that in a minute. And these are the what we call prime real estate in the electromagnetic spectrum. They can propagate very well in the open air, and they can carry a very high throughput over a large distance. And the third one is satellite broadband. And satellite has traditionally suffered from high cost and high latency and low throughput occasionally too. But these days, with the LEO, low Earth orbit, small form factor satellites such as the CubeSat, constellation of dozens or hundreds of these LEO CubeSats, along with a optimized ground station configuration, can provide a very promising potential. You might have read newspaper articles that talked about how Starlink, for example, is one of the companies providing satellite broadband to every corner of the country or throughout the world. And the key challenge here is that while the latency has been reduced by quite a bit and throughput enhanced, still there is the ground station economic challenge that we have to face. So whether it's wireline signal processing, 5G mid to low band, or satellite LEO constellation with ground station, there are promising technologies coming our way. And indeed,